More than 4 days after the devastating earthquake and tsunami in Indonesia, the search is continuing in the hope of finding people still alive. The death toll has increased dramatically. 1,234 people have now been confirmed dead, but that's expected to keep rising. Satellite images have revealed the full extent of the impact on Sulawesi. Many neighbourhoods in the city of Palu have been dramatically altered, and there's concern about the health and safety of those who've survived. More than 60,000 people are homeless. Palu still only has limited power and clean water. And the Red Cross has deployed more than 170 aid workers, but a lot more help is needed. Indonesia correspondent Anne Barker is in Palu.
They're angry. They have to beg for help.
I am hungry. I am hungry. Drink water. I am hungry. No rice, no rice.
These people have lost everything, and they've come to this government distribution centre hoping to get something to eat, but instead they're turned away.
People are started to killing each other because there's no food, there's no gas, there's basically nothing for us.
Many are going to extreme lengths to feed their families.
We have no choice, we have to rob the grocery stores to stay alive.
And you did that?
Yes.
Tens of thousands of people are homeless. Many houses were buried in mud when the earthquake caused the ground to flow like liquid. Now they're trying to salvage their possessions. Many are worried if they leave their homes, everything will be stolen. Despite the dangers, people are also doing anything they can to get fuel. Some are queuing for hours, but not getting a drop.
There's no signal communications and even, gas. Everyone's queuing for this.
This is one of many stores broken into since the disaster happened. Looters here have taken everything from food and drink to baby food and even soap, partly because stores everywhere are closed. And other shopkeepers are now fearful of riots when they reopen. Indonesian soldiers are being deployed so they can restore order as businesses reopen. The troops are sympathetic towards looters, letting police deal with them.
The problem is they don't have enough supplies to sustain themselves. That's why they're stealing.
These Red Cross workers normally provide food to patients in hospitals. They're waiting for international supplies to arrive so they can help everybody.
Is there enough water and food for these people?
No. It's very limited about the food, water and also health services.
Thousands continue to flee the city. They're clamouring onto any flight out, frightened and traumatised.
The earthquake was so powerful. All of us ran out in a big group. We were shouting, people were screaming.
An Indonesian Air Force plane filled with relief supplies was unable to land during a desperate rush on the runway. The airport is badly damaged and the control tower collapsed, but flights have resumed. Reassuring words from rescue workers who battled for 3 hours to save one more life, a man who'd been lying trapped in the rubble of a financial building for almost 4 days. Anne Barker, ABC News, Palu.
The Prime Minister, Scott Morrison, says Australia has already given $500,000 to the Red Cross in Indonesia, and officials are in talks over what other help can be provided. On the ground, it's clear a lot more is needed. Anne Barker joins us now from Palu, and you've been there for a few days now. Is there any sense that the situation is beginning to improve?
No, Juanita, I'd have to say that there's no sense that it's improving at the moment, but there is a feeling that things are starting to turn around and that we might be turning a corner now with the aid effort mounting both in Indonesia itself and from overseas. The current estimate is that 60,000 people have been left homeless by the tsunami and the earthquake, and that the aid that is trickling in already is just the tip of the iceberg. Now, today we did see sniffer dogs deployed for the very first time, both to help the search and rescue effort for any bodies and also to identify bodies under the rubble in order to try to prevent disease. The main desperate need is for water, followed by shelter. Now, this is a very isolated area. Some of the roads leading into Palu have been destroyed. They are in a very bad condition, and some aid groups have struggled to get in here. The Red Cross is now here as of today or yesterday, but other groups are yet to arrive. There is an expectation that hopefully more aid groups will be here by tomorrow, and there's also a hope that power will be restored to Palu tomorrow. That will be a huge relief, not least because it could allow shops to open, and that would mean that it could relieve pressure on food and water supplies that are readily available in stores.
And what about the government's response? How do people feel about that?
Juanita, they feel very badly let down both by the Indonesian government in Jakarta and by local authorities. Going right back to the day of the tsunami, they were disappointed that there was that the tsunami warning that was issued was only for a very short period, that many people didn't receive that warning at all. And there was a lot of complaints that there was no sort of education to people as to how to respond to a tsunami warning. The fact that they didn't know that they should run to higher ground, that may have saved more lives. Experts say that, you know, people should be educated in the fact that if there's an earthquake, that could well mean a tsunami some minutes or half an hour or so afterwards. So that was a major complaint. And look, there are families here that have received no assistance at all. Only yesterday the Indonesian government accepted the offer of foreign aid, and there are a lot of questions about why that was so slow in coming and what impact that might now have, the fact that it's taken them 4 days even to accept the offer, let alone see that aid arrive.
Anne Barker reporting there from the disaster zone in Indonesia.